what's going on, Colts Nation? He's Jamal Lawrence. I'm Eric Smith, your co-host of the Colts Cast.
Yo.
Hey, the Indianapolis Colts, you already know what happened. They fell to the Atlanta Falcons on the road, 29-10, making the playoffs a little more difficult to achieve. Now, according to the playoff picture on NFL.com, we still have a 52% chance to make the playoffs. But look, we got to keep it a buck. The inconsistency shown by this team, I mean, I'm going to start off real hot because, like, do we, at this point, do we want to make the playoffs? Like, we got to, I mean, that's a valid question at this point. Do you want to see this team in the playoffs? Because this was a shit show after the first drive.
Yep.
The first drive. I felt like nothing went right. We love playing from behind. We had to make sure we kept that going. But Jamal, I don't know where you want to start. I think a lot of Colts fans have lost faith in this team.
Oh, for sure.
Even though we shouldn't, like we're still 7th seeds, currently right now. But it was just pathetic. I mean, is that the right word?
Yeah, that's the exact right word. And before we break this thing down, y'all, because first off, Eric and I both know everybody's pissed off, everybody's shitty, however you want to slice it. We get it. I mean, the Colts stunk it up today. There ain't no doubt about it. But, we're here to keep it a buck. So while y'all are here, because I know you came here, even though you read the title, we took an L. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Let us know in the comments how you felt about the game. All right, be real. That's all we ask for you, and we can keep it 100 with y'all too. So, Eric, just to get into it, man, that lackluster playing from behind effort was it was displayed on full display today. It's crazy too because, and I know people don't get too caught up in the odds and in Vegas and all that stuff, but when I saw that -2.5 for the Falcons, I just kept laughing all week long, and I'll keep it a buck. I was like, all right, well, at some point they're gonna have to they're gonna have to switch this up. Hey, somebody knew something we didn't.
Yeah.
Somebody knew something
Vegas
we didn't.
knew.
Yeah, because it was embarrassing. There is no other way to slice it besides the fact that it was embarrassing. There was no offense, there was no defense, there was no special teams, there was nothing. It was just a piss poor game, and I really feel like the Colts walked into this game thinking that it was going to be a breeze, or they're just ready for the holidays, and they were just like, hey, whatever happens, happens. And we are fortunately lucky that every other team lost today that we needed to lose for what it's worth. Pretty much every other team lost. I mean, that's the only thing keeping us in a decent mood for today. Colts got to wake up, though, because this was just embarrassing across the board for everybody on the field. Like, everybody.
Falcons just got beat by the Panthers. They got swept by the Panthers. The only 2 wins the Carolina Panthers have are against the Atlanta Falcons. And we just got beat by them. Like, by Taylor Heineke and company. Look, it's just like how they beat us, 29-10. It was absolute beat down. Gardner Minshew is Gardner Minshew. I'm tired of talking about him. We know what he is. He is a pure backup. We know what his limitations are. We know what his ceiling is. He cannot elevate this offense by himself. They have to play basically with him. He's not that type of caliber of quarterback that's going to raise this team to the next level. It's just we all know that, and they shut him down. They rattled him. It started in the second quarter that they couldn't get anything going. Colts couldn't run the ball. I mean, look at these stats. Gardner Minshew, at 201 yards, averaged 5.4 yards per attempt. He had like a 52% completion rate. 1 interception, he's got to get 1 turnover in. But what happened with the run game? We can't look. If the Colts can't establish the run, they cannot win the game.
You know what, man? You're 100% right. That run game was horrendous, and it's not all on the running backs. It's definitely not, because the offensive line was not there when it comes to run block, and Blake Freeland was getting dog walked all game. I saw Big Q get steamrolled. Like, no one is safe. No one is safe today. It was embarrassing to just watch this breakdown. And it's so crazy because we've talked about in the past how JT is so reliant on bouncing out to that right tackle spot when Braden Smith is there and picking up that 4, 5, 6 yard game. And you could tell he was like trying to be patient and bounce out. But whenever it happened, Blake missed his block or Blake just got beat, and all of a sudden JT's getting stuffed in the backfield. Now, again, and I'm not going to sit here and say that it's all the offensive line's fault, because I felt like there were plenty of times where running backs were back there. They were just kind of tiptoeing in, or they were just literally running into the back of an offensive lineman. Like, I'm like, did you look before you try to see where your gap was? And if your hole wasn't there in that A gap, B gap, C gap, did you decide to bounce it out? Or did you, like, what happened to make you just say, my hole is the A gap, I'm going to the A gap, no matter whether there's 16 people there, even though there can be 11 people on the field, I'm still going right there. And
so you're talking about JT, because JT had the bulk of the carry.
Yeah, JT did it plenty of times. It was a mixed bag of confusion, in my opinion, of offensive line just playing slack, ugly football, and JT just kind of like just standing there. I mean, just standing there for what it's worth in my head.
Yeah, we tweeted that the offensive line was playing really well. They were for that first quarter, maybe a little less than that. And then as soon as that was tweeted, I saw Blake Freeland just get eviscerated.
Yep.
It was really funny. But yeah, being beat by rookies like Zach Harrison.
Yeah.
Blake Freeland has not had a good rookie season as far as like that matchups he's had to go against. But hey, look, they're coming after you, man. I mean, they're gonna put their best. They're gonna put their best edge rusher on you, and they're gonna exploit that if they can, and they have. So he was getting crushed. Braden Smith, like, dude, he's got to come back. He's got to come back, and he's got to come back healthy. He's only played 8 games this season. He's really our missing link to this offensive line. I know this offensive line was not playing well all day. Not in the run blocking game, not in the pass blocking game. Just not what they're worth, you know. Been very inconsistent the past 3 weeks. I don't know, man. This offense, really one of the big things, you know, that was missing, right?
What?
Michael Pitman Jr.
Go ahead. Let me hear about it.
Yeah, man. Go ahead. When he get his new contract again, because we saw how this offense was not fluid. That machine was not running. The engine was not cooking without him. And Josh Downs.
Take a sip of my water before I get started, boy.
Josh Downs was set to have a big day today. Could not do it. Could not do it with Michael Pittman out. We were fooled. But I thought it was evident. The offense does run through Pittman. That's why he gets double-digit targets a game. He delivers. And, you know, not a coincidence. He was out. And our passing game took a little hit, man. I mean, Kylan Granson led in receiving. Kylan Granson was probably the only bright spot. You know, I would even say Will Mallory as well. Our tight ends was balling. Yeah. And then he had a fumble too, but wasn't lost. Kylan Granson was making some beautiful catches.
He was.
I think Josh Downs had a drop or two. Alec Pierce had a drop. I knew Alec Pierce was going to get killed for that shot. But this is what happens. This is the Michael Pittman effect.
So, and I want to go ahead and stop you right there, dog. I just got to, because it wasn't Michael Pittman Jr. missing an issue. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But the offense was just as stagnant with him not being there today. Let's keep it a buck. When he was there last week, we threw for 215 yards. Today he threw for 201 Minshew. So not a lot has changed for that. I expected Josh Down to have a day. I really did. I expected both Josh Down and Pierce. This is their opportunity, especially Pierce being a wide receiver too, to really come in and step up. I know he's that deep ball threat for us, but at some point, you know, we've talked about his route tree. We talked about his explosiveness, him being quick. You got to adjust your game whenever your wide receiver 1 is out. So and they tried to feed. They did try to feed Downs. I think he had 9 targets. He had 6 catches or whatever. A couple high balls, couple ones he should have gotten, but he didn't. Lackadaisical. But the reason why I can't say that Michael Pittman Jr. being gone was the biggest difference, because the Colts offense has been so stagnant over these games lately. We look at the Bengals game. I talked about this last week in the Steelers pregame show. Offense put up 8 points against the Bengals. Against the Titans, offense put up 12 points. Against the Bucks, the offense put up 18 points. Against the Panthers, the offense put up 6 points. Against the Steelers, the offense put up 18 points. And today, the offense put up 7 points or 6 points, I guess. So because I'm not counting, you know, extra points or whatever the case is. So even without Pitman there today, there was still nothing going on with this offense. So I think that Pitman being gone was a factor for us? Absolutely. I felt like our receivers didn't know how to adjust with having to be that focal point. Josh Downs, he's a rook, so we'll give him that. Pierce, though, like you got to accept this role when it's in your hands, but I also expect those Mo Alley Cox and those vets like that to step up too as well. But this offense was non-existent when Pittman's there, and it was non-existent when Pitman was not there today. So as much as I do love him getting his 9-10 catches a game, don't matter if we still ain't putting up points. So
hey, look, I'm gonna let the viewers decide that. Was Michael Pittman the missing X factor today?
no,
You're probably right, Jamal. If Michael Pittman was there today, we probably wouldn't have won the game. Now, would Minshew be more efficient?
Yeah.
I think so. But hey, let the viewers decide. Comment below. Let us know what you all think about that. Overall, pathetic performance by this offense. And Jamal is right. We've had a lot of pathetic performances. We've scored a lot of points, on average, but I talked about at the very beginning, the inconsistency. We just don't hit it right every single game. The defense. Ooh.
Them boys stay back in Indy. They wasn't at the game today. I don't know who that was.
Yeah. Y'all still want Gus Bradley here?
There we go. All right, so hey, Colts fans, hey, I'm gonna listen. Like I like to keep it a buck with y'all. I do. I really love it. I really love it. Hey, but let's be real here. When the Colts was winning 2 weeks ago, I don't know, 5 out of the last 6 games, ain't nobody had a problem with Gus Bradley. Today, them boys got dog walked throughout the entire park, and y'all calling for Gus Bradley head. Listen, Gus Bradley ain't changed. He has done nothing. Nothing has changed since week 1. Our defensive line is playing just as hard as they were. They're getting the sacks and all that good jazz. So y'all can't act like Gus Bradley just decided to abandon the blitz today because he has the lowest blitz rate out of any defensive coordinator in the NFL, y'all. In the NFL, he never is blitz. He's never blitz. So he ain't gonna start today all of a sudden. So listen, people, don't start talking out your neck whenever Bradley has a bad game. Do I want Bradley there? I've said from the beginning Bradley should have been gone. So I'm gonna keep it like that. But I'm just saying that you can't sit here and be like, yo, Gus Bradley, he's that dude. When we won 5 out of 6 games, as soon as we get mopped up, you're off with his head, off death by exile. Like, nah, dog, keep that same energy. Like, that's all I want to hear.
So I will say, I will say this: Gus Bradley does not adapt. He does not adapt well. It seems like it's insanity for him. He will do the same thing over and over again and just let his players make a play, because I do feel like you got to blitz every once in a while. Like we weren't generating a lot of pressure. I mean, I think we might have had 1 sack on Heineke. We weren't really getting to him, and then he was getting, his players were getting open. I don't know. To me, I'm not gonna pin it all on Gus Bradley, but because our defense, what do we have? 47 sacks as a total.
Yeah, I mean, looking great.
Yeah,
like that.
It's a good bit, and I mean we've done some good things. We're getting a lot of takeaways, and it just stopped here. But yeah, I just feel like he's just, no matter what, like he might even show blitz, he just drops him back in coverage. I don't know. It does feel stagnant on that end. It kind of reminds me of the Frank Wright era where everything was just stagnant on the offensive end. And we know that's changed. But I don't think we have the talent back there to get that offense rolling all the time. But this defense, there's a lot to be said about it because there were a lot of missed tackles in this game. That's not on Bradley. Bradley can't really change that, at least during the game, because Bijan was shaking everyone in open space. It was absolutely crazy. I will say 2 bright spots were our linebackers. They looked. I didn't realize how fast Zaire and EJ Speed they were. Yeah, they were all over the place. Like Zaire had a big jump on a ball, should have been an interception, probably could have been a pick 6. EJ Speed, he had that bad BS call on that personal foul. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
But I guess he did lean in with his helmet a little bit. I don't know. But he made quite a few plays this game. in coverage and in the run defense game. So I thought they were pretty stellar. But yeah, man, like all of their players, it looked like they were standout. Like Kyle Pitts looked like he was Tony Gonzalez 2.0.
Yeah. From the first play.
Yeah,
Like
for
his first catch.
Yeah, that first half, that man was balling. I mean, he didn't really get involved after that, but Bijan Robinson was probably the ace in the hole for us. I mean, 12 carries, 72 yards. We could not stop him.
Yeah.
But then they have that three-headed attack where they use Cordero Patterson and Tyler Aguilar, or Algier. I'm sorry. So it was rough everywhere. I mean, Bijan was their leading receiver. That's how incredible Bijan was. And Bijan hasn't really been that good every single game this year. He just showed out against us. We can't stop that short passing game. I don't know, man.
It was all around ugly. I mean, there's just really no other way to slice it than it was ugly. The Colts, I really feel like the Colts just assumed that this is going to be a cakewalk of a game, didn't really prep and prepare the way they should have, and then we just got embarrassed. And I mean, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I just think we just got embarrassed because we're like, oh, this game, it matters, but it ain't the end of the world. This isn't as big as a game as the Steelers game was. There wasn't as big as a chip. And we just got beat.
Yeah, this isn't the end of our playoff hunt. I think next week is a must win. I feel like we say this every week, but
yeah, it has to be. It has to be.
Another must win game for the Indianapolis Colts against the Las Vegas Raiders, which I'm done underestimating opposing teams. I really thought we had them, like the Falcons. I really thought Vegas got it wrong. This will be a slight cakewalk. Did not happen. They actually just drug us into the ground. Then we got to end with the Houston Texans, and I'm sure CJ Stroud's going to be back for that, and he's going to be hungry. I don't know, man. I'm not confident about the Colts anymore. I think if we would even lost this game in like a valiant effort, I would have felt better.
Yeah.
But we shit the bed.
Yeah.
And there was nothing great about it. I felt like we were better on paper. I don't know. It's just I can't really say much more, man.
Yeah, I mean, I seriously, like, I can only just co-sign everything you just said because it was just ugly. It truly was just ugly. There was nothing right happening, and that's the one thing, like you said, the paper stats, man. They're like, well, we look at the tackles that EJ had. We look at Zaire. Then we look at Collins' numbers. Like, all right, these numbers aren't too bad, but that just translated to nothing. I mean, nothing across the board for us. And it's just it's frustrating just because, like, and especially because during the announcing, because I'm not gonna have too much more to say, but during the announcing, they were just kept talking about how the Falcons wanted to make Minshew roll to the left because he wasn't confident when it comes to rolling to the left and either scrambling or throwing the ball. And guess what they did all game long? They forced him to roll to the left. And what did he do? A little shake and bake, try to rush for a couple yards and get nothing. 3rd and 6, second and 6, and all of a sudden he's having to roll out to the left, and he goes for a 2-yard rush because he can't throw across his body like that, or whatever the case is. I mean, their game plan, I feel like they actually took the time to look at their game plan, figure out what their game plan was, and they executed. And this could be a lot of it could be because Arthur Smith is probably on the chopping block right now for them, so they had to figure out a way to be like efficient, but they legitimately watched film, figured out how they can stop this, and took advantage of every hole we have, being the offensive line at some points, being the quarterback at some points, being the fact that our number one receiver wasn't there, the defense, the holes in the defense. I mean, it was just, we got exploited. It's no other way to put it. We got exploited. They watched film, they prepared, and the Colts didn't prepare.
Yeah, Minshew's pocket presence always has been a weakness for him. And I felt like it showed this game. But I will say, I think most quarterbacks are not confident rolling out to their left if they're right-handed, unless your name is Tua Tagovailoa. Who's some other left-handed quarterbacks?
Top of my head, I don't know. Yeah, I think Tua probably. Mahomes would probably fine rolling out to his left. He'll figure out a way to do something silly with the ball. But
yeah, but Patrick Mahomes don't grow on trees. So
Hey, I know. And that's not a dig at Minshew. My point was that I was just wanting to point out that the Falcons knew what what one of his biggest weakness was, and they made sure that happened, play after play after play. So I mean, kudos to them for doing their homework. I can't be mad at that. They did what they were supposed to do.
yeah. So as of right now, I don't even know if I want the Colts to make the playoffs, but I could still just be in disbelief of what excuse me, after what happened in this game. But we'll see. My mood may change. It was a disappointing game to watch, to say the least.
Yeah. It was a disappointing game, and the Colts have to figure out a way to bounce back, man. They got to figure out a way to bounce back. There's no other way to put it than that. They know what's on the table. Like you said, we're still at 50% because we were fortunate, or whatever, 52% chance to make the playoffs because fortunately other teams lost. So I mean, you move on from there. You forget about this game. You don't let it sit there and linger. You go on to next week because we got bigger fish to fry when the Raiders come to town. So let's get it popping with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can still end the season with 10 wins.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we can still overachieve even more because we've already overachieved, but we can.
Yeah.
There's a limit. Hey, that's all we got, I think, Jamal, right?
Yes, sir. That's all I got.
Man, Indianapolis Colts. Jeez.
Back at it again.
That's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.